The fight with Iran is reigniting. U.S. forces carried out precision airstrikes last night against Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. They're blamed for a major rocket attack this week. They shot 30 rockets at the Taji Air Base just outside of Baghdad, killing 2 U.S. service members and 1 26-year-old British soldier. The U.S. is now ramping up naval forces in the Mideast. The Iran fighting is coming back on. Let's get to an expert on this, Kiron Skinner, former State Department official. The U.S. Great to see you, Kiron. The U.S. is moving 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, the U.S. Dwight D. Eisenhower and USS Harry Truman in the region. What's going on here?
Actually, it's a continuation of what I've called and others who've studied the U.S.-Iran relationship since the Iranian Revolution of 1979. It's a continuation of the Twilight War that we've been in with this country. We started the year with Iran as a crisis, and it's still a crisis. Coronavirus happened as a major global pandemic in between, but the fact of the matter is, Iran remains a high priority for the United States. Those, in fact, are the words of the head of U.S. Central Command, General Kenneth McKenzie, as he outlined the full range of military measures that we're taking against Iran and its proxies. We had loss of American life and that of the British this week due to Iran. This war continues at a lower grade. It's not a conventional war. The extensive use of proxies in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen. We have layered issues in terms of our global agenda now, not just the coronavirus, but in fact, the Iran crisis interacts with the coronavirus in the sense that Iran, like China, has lacked transparency and has shown that it doesn't have the resiliency within its system to deal with.
Go ahead, finish your point. We want to show, we're running out of time, stunning satellite images of Iran preparing massive death pits for coronavirus victims so large they're visible from outer space. Will the regime, they may not survive this crisis. We only have a minute to go. 4 top government officials in Iran now dead. 24 other top officials infected. Will this basically really slam the regime for good? What do you think?
I think it could because, thousands of people are testing positive, and we don't have official numbers because the regime won't release them. But what Iran may do, Tehran, the government, to survive, is look outward and attempt to foment a greater crisis with the U.S. And that, I think, on top of what's happening internally, could just really weaken the regime beyond potential repair.
So when they get on their back heels, they attack. Is that it? Final word, Kiron.
I think so, and I think that's what we saw this week. But we saw the U.S. responding very strongly with the decision to have 2 carrier task force strike groups remain in the Middle East, the new Patriot system that will be deployed in Iraq, followed by a C-RAM system to protect it. We're doing a lot against them, and I think they see our will and our capacity.
Kiron Skinner, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.